All right, like, subscribe, and share. Okay, guys, today we just got some breaking news, and this seems to be the last time we would ever see. Who would have known this is the last time we ever would see Terence Crawford make a ring entrance and enter a boxing ring? This is crazy. This is the last time he'd ever deliver a left hook, and you can see the way that old Cinnamon's neck snapped there. And this right here is the last time he ever landed an uppercut. It's crazy. But Terence Crawford today, he hung up his gloves today, and he said that he's retiring from the sport of boxing, which is it's news to all of us. We were really all expecting either a rematch of this here fight with Canelo, or we were expecting a move back down to challenge at a new weight class, which was 160 pounds. Unfortunately, the Genovic and Lara unification never happened. So me personally, I was expecting maybe he could go fight Lara, maybe Carlos Adames, who's said to be in a in negotiations with, I can't remember who for his next fight, but it was a reputable name. I'm sorry for the mishap, just because I'm so shocked by this whole news of Terence Crawford's retirement announcement. But man, this is crazy because he had so many options open, but we also have to remember Terence Crawford is on the latter side of the 30s. He's at the age of 37, 38 now-ish, if I'm not mistaken. But he's definitely up there. He's closer to his 40s. And you never know when you get to that point. One wrong false step and it could all be over by then. You could walk into the ring and you get old overnight. I wouldn't say that this was the right fight because to a lot of people, Terence Crawford was not the favorite. The books didn't have Bud as favored. I won some money on Bud that night. And Canelo, kudos to him. He was still a live dog in there. If he was gonna accept the challenge, we all know it wasn't gonna be David. He went in there, fought Bud, and yeah, he got beat up. And I thought that the rematch was definitely gonna happen. I thought Bud was gonna put a seal on his career. I knew he probably only had one or two more fights left. I didn't know this would be the last fight, and I also thought that it would have to be the right fight, right? Because you had a lot of people sitting here clamoring for David and talking all this bullshit, but at the end of the day, the right fight would have either been a rematch with Canelo, which I feel like he would have sparked Canelo cold, knocked him out, or at least dropped him, or the 160 division where he probably would have took on the likes of the Genovic Lara when I had that happen, Adamas, and then had his swan song and called it quits. Now, what we should do is go down memory lane. I mean, we could talk about Terence Crawford's reign at 140 pounds. A lot of people criticize this tenure at the weight class where he dominated and really just was levels above his competition. He really made it look easy. But we also got to remember that guys like Regis Prograis were there who didn't want to fight him. You had the likes of Adrian Broner who definitely was like teetering and tottering in between the weight division. He wasn't looking for a Terence Crawford fight, and numerous other fights that could have been out there, especially guys who were affiliated. He did fight guys with PBC, but the major upper echelon guys who were around that weight class, in and around that weight class, they weren't interested. So, that was where his undisputed reign started. We could talk about Bud Crawford's resume and all that stuff, and y'all could act like y'all was watching him since he was with I think it was Zafner Promotions where he was fighting in barnyards and things like that. But for me, I ain't gonna lie. This is what put Terence Crawford on the map for me. This is one of my favorite fights of his. Um, and what made me know that he was a force to be reckoned with when he was down at 135. And he fought the boogeyman in the division at that time and had him looking like he was ready to go take a swim. Yorkish Gamboa. Gamboa was a power punching monster at the weight division and had the likes of Mikey Garcia not even trying to fight him. And Bud went out there and handled his business. Everybody knows the fight for him get rocked, and people the rumors that went out there that Bud had no chin, nothing, stuff like that, which was complete and utter nonsense. He went out there, got hit. Yes, did he dance and do a little wiggle, pause. Yeah, he did, but Bud came out there and handled his business, and that really what started his reign. Actually not his reign, but it gave him the notoriety he needed in the boxing sphere to be noticed and recognized. This right here has to be my favorite moment in Terence Crawford's career. We could talk about all his fights, the Mean Machines, Sean Porter. Um, we can even talk about the fights that we never got, where after this night we could have got a Jamel Charlo fight, and numerous options. Right? He definitely missed out on a lot at 147. But when the end all be all came to it, there was only one fight that mattered, and it was against Errol Spence Jr., July 29th of 2023. I like to call it the fish fry. I mean, with moments like this, and just to zoom in, look at this right here. Oh my gosh. He got Earl face looking like a claymation. Do you see this? Did you see what? Man. And we literally called it the fish fry because, shout out to my boy Flame On. Called the fish fry because a lot of people was talking about the big fish was going to swallow crawfish paws and do all of this stuff. But at the end of the day, this was probably the most vindicated moment for me when it comes to Terence Crawford, because it really created a divide in the boxing world as far as the black boxing fan. And it had us all segregated and we were going against each other. But actually, when I look back at it, it was a blessing in disguise, because it really was the thing that got me into reporting, because I really wanted to get everybody's opinion on how the matchup was going to go and how Terence Crawford was going to, if Terence Crawford was going to beat the guy who was quote unquote too big, too strong. Shoot, and even in the midst of all of that, I forgot to tell y'all, 2 months before the fight was announced, I actually met Terence Crawford and I asked him to put Errol Spence in the dirt. He told me he got me. So shout out to Bud for even doing that, because he literally was a man of his word. He beat Earl so bad that we didn't even recognize him by the end of the fight. Although he made no excuses, we know that Earl went against Al's wishes to make that fight. So shout out to Earl for making that fight and being a part of history, even though it's the wrong side of history. He did his thing. Now Bud ended up being a 3-time undisputed champ, and we know that a lot of people are gonna rank this fight. I'm actually gonna leave this poster up here because this one, I'm happy to say that I've actually met a legend. I don't get geeked out when I see celebrities or when I see boxers at that. I only got pictures with a far and few of them. And you'd have to be like somebody that I actually like revere and respect for me to even act that type of way. Like it's never that serious. But I just wanted to catch a photo with Bud because he actually is my favorite fighter of them all, him and Artur Beterbiev. But the fact that I got the chance to meet him a couple years ago, it was really cool. But back to what I was saying, Bud is going to be, now that the retirement is official, you're going to get a lot of hypotheticals. Would Bud have been able to beat Floyd? Would Bud have been able to beat Tommy Hearns? Would he have been able to beat Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Shane Mosley, Winky Wright, Bernard Hopkins? The list is gonna, Sweet Pea, Oscar, I said Roberto Duran, Julio Cesar Chavez. We're gonna get a lot of hypotheticals. We're gonna get where he's ranked among the greats, and I think it's just he ended his career the way that most of us would like to end our careers, in our respective fields and what we do, in our own way. We don't want something to injure us, take us out, death, the trials and tribulations of life to come by and just end our run. We would like to end on our own terms and be able to go to our beachfront or our cabin in the woods or our loft that we dream of, and end our careers in the right way, the way that we have it stored in our heads. So I feel like this is deserving of a part 2. Let me know what you guys think of Bud's career. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? I think he damn sure is. Like, subscribe, and share, and we'll be back with a part 2 soon.